It's a total disgrace what happened to Otto. That should never, ever be allowed to happen. And frankly, if he were brought home sooner, I think the result would have been a lot different. He should have been brought home that same day.
All right, Otto Warmbier's death igniting calls for yet new sanctions and even worse for North Korea. This ahead of China and the U.S. officials meeting tomorrow, presumably on this and other subjects. Former UN spokesperson Ric Grenell with us right now. You know, Rick, one of the things that has come up is not only how this young man died, but whether it is more of a catalyst for action than any missile test or launch we've seen out of the North Koreans. What do you think of that?
I think it's absolutely true. We've had 10 missile tests in 2017 alone from the North Koreans. Think about that. 10 since 2017. But nothing has united a public conversation and diplomatic action, at least talk of diplomatic action, like Otto's death. Our hearts are very heavy. This never should have happened, and I think there's bipartisan agreement on Capitol Hill that the North Koreans are responsible for Otto's death. So I think that we will see action quickly, and I know that the State Department and the NSC and others are talking about what type of sanctions there should be.
Now, they still have 3 Americans that they're over the North Korean government, as well as a Canadian. Bill Richardson, a former ambassador, has been indicating that now is an ideal time to release them. But of course, the North Koreans are not indicating they will. Do you think that they're going to try to use this, or the North Koreans will try to use this as a negotiating tactic on the missile controversy?
Well, this is the slippery slope of having U.S. personnel, having Americans overseas held against their will, because we cannot make U.S. policy according to any one individual, as sad as that is. But the reason why is if we somehow negotiate for hostages as an official position of the U.S. government, then we get situations like what we had in the Obama administration, where we're exchanging cash or 5 Taliban members for 1 American. That's a policy that we should state and in practice say that we do not negotiate for hostages. I do think, though, that family members, the Warmbier family, should be allowed to do whatever they have to do to get their loved ones back. I've worked on cases inside Iran, and during the Obama administration, the State Department under Obama tried to pressure us to be quiet and let them negotiate. I think that's a terrible idea. You should have the State Department and diplomats quietly working, but you should allow the family to do any media that they want, any pressure that they think. Have 2 different tracks. Let the people holding the hostages understand that the family is working completely independently and will do anything and everything they can to get their loved one back. The State Department has to have a different tact.
Now, John McCain is on the wires, Rick, saying that the North Koreans murdered this young man and that Americans would be foolish to even entertain visiting there, furthermore, that they're on their own if they do. What do you think of that?
I think that's very true. I mean, they shouldn't be on their own. We should do everything that we can to help. But I do think that it's too dangerous for Americans to go there. Right now, Neil, we need to focus on what we do next. And as I said, we have had 10 missile tests. The North Koreans are clearly getting close. They have the 3 parts. They have they've been testing a missile. They've been testing how to launch it. And they've been testing how to explode something inside that missile. We know that they put a rocket into space, and that certainly is problematic. So I think we have to take them very seriously about the signals that they're sending. It's time that we do something with China that is serious. The 2 sanctions that are the biggies for diplomats like me are oil and banking sanctions. Usually diplomats are hesitant to do that, but I think that we need diplomacy with muscle right now. I would suggest that the State Department look at implementing banking sanctions on China unless they take action. We know that they can play a bigger role here, and they are not doing it. The other thing, too, we have to get very...
Right? They're toothless without it. If we don't get the Chinese to dial back whatever assistance they're offering, then whatever we do is a moot point.
We have foreign aid going to African countries, U.S. foreign aid, U.S. tax dollars going to African countries who are doing trade with North Korea. That's outrageous.
Amazing.
We should clamp down on that immediately.
Ric Grenell, former UN spokesperson. Good seeing you again, even under these circumstances. Thank you.